Jordan Williams sat down with Storm Tracker and Chief Meteorologist Patrick Vaughn on what lessons were learned following Harvey.
All right, Patrick, as we look back, one of the first questions I had was when this thing came toward Rockport, did you have any idea what was coming next?
Well, as far as the rainfall, we started getting indications that we were going to see some heavy rainfall, catastrophic rainfall. It was before it made landfall, a lot of questions as far as how heavy the rain would be and where it's set up. But once it made landfall, modeling just went crazy as far as rainfall. One particular model was showing anywhere between 35 and 50 inches over southeast Texas somewhere, and we certainly saw that.
I mean, models like nothing you'd ever seen before.
You know, I've been doing this for 25 years, and you know, we can do 6 inches in an afternoon, but to do 35 to 50 inches, you know, that's catastrophic.
So once it came ashore, the models started saying, hey, what's left of it's going to slow down, and this is going to be a huge rainmaker. Did you believe them?
Yes and no. I had never seen anything quite like that, but you know, one of the models that has just been outstanding for several years, it was believable. But you know, we got really 2 rounds of rain, and it was really the 29th at 4 days after landfall that really just crushed southeast Texas.
Yeah, that was the day we had, what, 29 inches?
It was 26.03 inches on the 29th of August.
For the grand total at Jack Brooks of over 60.
Jack Brooks got 48, but Nederland set the record for the storm as the wettest storm on record. It was 60.58 inches at Nederland.
And so where was that measurement?
It was one of the DD6 gauges, DD7?
DD7 down there.
DD7, yeah.
Wow, okay. I want to talk a little bit more about the amount of rain that it produced so quickly. And you love to tell us we're never going to have the same storm repeat itself. Right?
Right.
No storms are the same.
Right.
Explain what made this one such a rainmaker.
Well, the thing is that it was a very stagnant steering pattern, and it was basically between 2 highs, trough of low pressure over North Texas. It just couldn't move, so it was stuck, and we would get rounds of bands moving on into the area. And what was so fascinating, unfortunately bad for our area, is that we were getting 5-6 inches per hour rainfall rates.
And what creates that much rainfall in an hour?
Well, it's just the banding. It's just a very proficient low pressure system that just brings those bands on in, and they produce torrential rainfall. Feeder bands is what they are.
And as we all sit here 5 years later and think, my God, I hope this never happens again, what do you tell us, you know, when you look at the forecasting to say, is this a scenario that could repeat in our lifetimes?
It's unlikely, because it was so extreme, but you know, you can never say no.
Right. And there's the whole, you know, this is a 1 in 100 year storm, a 1 in 500 year storm.
1,000 is what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it will only happen every 1,000 years.
Right.
It just means there's this, you know, very, very small chance that it would happen again in our lifetimes.
Exactly.
I want to turn the conversation briefly here to how better prepared you as a forecaster are, how better prepared we as Southeast Texans are 5 years later. When you start looking at models, you might believe them next time.
Well, you know, a few years ago we didn't have ensemble modeling, and that was just deterministic, one model, and that was it. How do you know if it's right or wrong? But now we have ensemble modeling, so you have, you know, 30 to 50 runs of the same model each run, and it gives you a host of where the possibilities of where this storm is going to go and how much rain is going to fall.
All right, we know you'll always be watching. Always tracking. It's
Yep.
in the name for you.
Yep.
All right, guys, we'll send it back to you.